not in uniform refuse to identify while engaging in a policing activity. Not fantastic, is it? It's against policy, you are required to identify. You're engaging in a stop and account, you are required to identify, because if I have any complaints, how am I supposed to make that complaint if you haven't kept yourself to the accountability standards that the force?
They showed up without uniforms, refused to give their names, and thought they could just walk away. What they did not expect was someone who knew exactly what the law says and was not afraid to use it. Watch as a citizen auditor dismantles 5 officers one by one, exposes a live data breach on police computers, forces accountability on camera, and delivers one of the most powerful closing speeches you will hear about the state of British policing. This is not just a video. This is what happens when the public finally fights back.
Not bad, how are you?
How's it going? What are you up to?
Just, as you see, just taking some pictures of your cars and out there.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Yeah. And you are, sorry?
Police officer.
And your collar number?
Are you an auditor, are you? Or you?
And your collar number, please?
I'll have to give you my collar number. It's my identification on my shoulder there.
And then if I can't read, it's not your policy to identify for members of the public?
No, I don't need to.
No, it's not identified, no.
Okay. Are you here to just cause issues, or are you here to just have a
No,
chat?
I'm just here to take pictures and that's all. As I said, I've just noticed as I was walking down to take pictures, your colleague's window was open, I could see the screen, made them aware of it.
Okay, have they sorted that?
Yeah, they closed the window,
Okay.
fine. Yeah, it's so simple as that.
Cool. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sure we're not here to cause you a problem. I'm sure you're not here to cause a problem. We're just,
You know, your colleagues not in uniform refuse to identify while engaging in a policing activity. Not fantastic, is it? It's against policy, you are required to identify. You're engaging in a stop and account, you are required to identify, because if I have any complaints, how am I supposed to make that complaint if you haven't kept yourself to the accountability standards that the force requires? So, you know, again, you refuse to identify properly because, again, you don't know that I can read, so you're refusing to identify properly. Yes, you're in uniform, but again, if I want to make a complaint against you,
you can give the time and date and where the location where you are. My body cam's recording, so
oh, is it?
It can all be.
How come it's taken you this long to let me know that your body cam's recording?
I'm talking.
And is it the policy not to, at the first most practical opportunity to allow
that? Was the most practical time to inform
was it?
you.
So because you come in and gone hands-on with me?
I haven't gone hands-on.
Exactly. So why is not the first thing that you say, good afternoon or morning?
What you're doing, because that's the first question I asked you, and then we've had a conversation, and now I've told you.
Yeah. But the first most practical opportunity is to say, good. By the way, you are being recorded.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could be covertly recording me under the regulations.
All right, guys, this audit goes south real quick. A citizen auditor approaches a police station, and the officers on scene straight up refuse to identify themselves during a stop and account. No collar number, no warrant card, nothing. This is a basic legal requirement, and they are already failing it hard. Watch how this plays out.
Investigatory Powers Act, couldn't you?
But that's not happening, so don't worry about that.
It could, because it took you X amount of time to alert me when there was plenty. The only situation where it's not practicable at the first opportunity is if you're going into a hands-on situation. Any other time, there's no reason, and this has been dealt with in the tribunal by the tribunal that deals with the Reaper Act, that the first most practical opportunity is when you approach somebody. If you have your camera on or you turn it on, if you approach with your camera on, you should alert them when you approach, unless you're going hands-on. If you turn it on whilst engaging in a conversation, you should turn it on, and then once it's recording, so it's stated on the camera, by the way, you are being recorded for my safety and your safety, blah, blah, blah. You have the right to do it, same way that I have the right to do it. It's not a problem, it's the notification that's the problem.
Okay.
You know.
But I've notified you at a time that I think is practical, so I've done that, so it's fine.
Okay, you can justify that to a tribunal, it's fine, no worries.
So what
so you're going to try to identify yourself properly yet?
No, I'm happy.
You're happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to identify yourself, or would you like a complaint as well, sir?
So can I ask you a question? Before my colleague steps in, so my name is PC2376.
Thank you, so that's how it's done, thank you.
My colleague here was obviously made aware that the window was open.
Yeah.
And he's got concerns because of data protection and that you might have recorded something on your phone from the screens.
If there is anything, I'm not sure if there is or not. If anything is captured on there, that will be evidence for me to report that to the Information Commissioner's office, because obviously the onus of data protection is on the organisation, not on whoever sees that information.
You don't expect someone to stick their head through the window.
I didn't stick my head through it. I didn't stick my head through a window. I saw it from a public place.
Somebody else's information, this is a secure site. Well,
I understand that.
It's not as secure as we'd like.
Well, no,
it to
exactly.
be.
It's not secure at all, is it? Really?
No. We are trying to work on that, but unfortunately, you have to do with what you've got.
Now it gets deeper. The auditor hits them with the body-worn camera notification argument, citing an actual tribunal ruling that officers must alert you at the first practical opportunity when recording. The officer had every chance and said nothing. That is not a mistake. That is a policy violation on camera. and he is being held to account for it word by word.
Even a bit of signage saying no unauthorised access beyond this point would go a long way, because I do respect signs like that.
No,
you know.
okay. I will take
But I
that
did
to
have a
the
look around,
senior-
and there is
I
nothing
will genuinely
there.
take that to the senior leadership team, because
Fantastic.
I think that is fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are trying to redo everything. Yeah, you know,
Okay.
financially we have to wait until the
That's
budget.
right, it's quite a
and
small
everything,
town,
and
isn't it?
it's
Lower
exactly,
priority.
You know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
get it. Yeah.
We get shoved right to the bottom type
Yeah.
of thing. We're right on the borders, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
between different forces and that. So it is totally. I understand where you're coming from, and I'll pass it on to the senior leadership
Thank
team.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've just got concerns about the data protection that's on that video. Do you
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Because that's somebody else's private stuff and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we obviously learn from things like that. So you've pointed it out. They've closed the window. It is
Fantastic.
really hot in there. We've got no air
Again,
conditioning.
I completely understand that,
Do you know
but
what I
obviously
mean?
data protection takes priority over that, unfortunately. You can get a fan in there, and I understand, you know, I've worked in many
So
various
that's what I'm
locations
more
where health and
concerned
safety
about,
data protection
what's
takes
being
priority
recorded.
over
Does
that.
that go live? Is that a live?
I'm not live streaming, no.
If there is something, would you delete that?
Not necessarily delete it, but I would make it anonymous. I would blur it out if there is anything, if I were to post it anywhere.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
it's not their fault. You know what I mean? It's the
No,
person-
of course. I've raised the issue of
Exactly.
data protection, and obviously I
Absolutely.
raised it as an issue because I do see it as an issue.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
going to go share that information.
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
very hypocritical of me,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it? You know.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
if there is anything captured on the camera, it won't be made available to the public. It will be forwarded to the ICO.
That's fine. Yeah. Can I
part of evidence.
take your details?
No,
can
I'm
I,
okay,
can I
thank
take
you.
your name?
No, I'm
please?
alright,
Just
thank you.
first name, so I know who I'm speaking to.
No, I'm alright, thank you.
So you've got my collar number, but I can't take yours.
Yeah, but as a Crown servant, obviously you have issues of accountability when dealing with members of the public, and
And
that's
I'm just
why.
being
And that's why.
polite
Yeah, I
asking
know.
your first name.
I
I
know.
don't even know anything
But then
else, so I
obviously
know who I-
that coupled with my image, which obviously he's notified me is recording.
Yeah, obviously.
Here is where things shift slightly. A professional female officer steps in, and the tone changes completely. The auditor raises a serious data protection concern. A police computer screen was fully visible through an open window. She listens, acknowledges the security failure, and engages properly. A rare moment of actual accountability being met with actual professionalism.
Because I'm open and honest, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
We record things so that you can see what we do.
Yeah.
And we can
Absolutely,
see,
I
you know what
completely
mean?
agree
So-
with the use of body cameras.
because
Completely.
That's the thing is that
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
hide saying, oh no, I didn't say this to this man, or this man didn't say anything.
No,
to
exactly.
me.
Exactly the same
That
reason
is
why I record any interaction I have with you as
yeah,
well.
that's
you know.
why we record everything. I have to
yeah.
protect my back with
Of
the amount of
course.
people have said we do things.
Of
and
course.
we don't.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I
with
mean?
your collar number and that, obviously, you're bound. You have to identify. You did
Yeah,
it correctly
you can see,
verbally
I mean,
because you
in
can't
uniform,
guarantee
there's
that
my
I
collar
can
number
read.
there, you know what I mean?
But you have to wear that for
2376.
accountability reasons. That's why I'm entitled to have that, because you're dealing with a member of the public in a
Absolutely.
stop and account situation. Accountability, you have to identify yourself for that exact reason,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
he doesn't seem to understand. And sorry, we got interrupted. Would you like the opportunity to identify?
4988 PC Biffin.
Sorry, what was-
PC Biffin.
and your collar number, please?
4988.
4988. There you go. Thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
But-
No, you're
Listen,
fine.
he
Okay, so
doesn't-
you're just going to be an absolute idiot
No,
about it.
he's
I'm not
got,
doing
Well, I mean, you
he's
are.
got other jobs and that, and you know we have to rely
Yes,
on
but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption that I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers have identified, and if you do
Yep.
need my details, they can be.
Okay, it's
passed
still,
when
that's
you
still,
make your complaint,
again, that's not
fine.
your policy,
Okay,
so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to your
Okay,
chief
not a problem
constable,
at
that's
all.
not a problem.
Not a problem
Actually, I'll
at
probably go straight through the IOPC, because otherwise it goes to your
Yeah,
local
that's-
PSD and gets
that's
kicked
not-
down and
yeah, I
disregarded.
appreciate that, that's not a problem
Yeah,
at all. If you
no
just do
worries.
that, that's absolutely
Okay,
fine.
nice picture of your face as well, so I can just make sure that goes to the right person.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there anything else I can
Lovely.
help you with today, sir?
No, like I said, you know, obviously, I've made the issue of that window, and I've made that aware.
Which I'm literally going to go speak to my inspector.
Yeah,
now.
and that's fantastic. Obviously, if I were to say to come back in half an hour and I walk back and that window's open again, you're now willfully and negligently disregarding
I
data
can
protection,
guarantee you that.
and that's fantastic. So, you know, I've been to places where they close it because I'm there, and then I come back at like 10, 15 minutes, half hour later.
The auditor is not done. He pushes hard on the lack of signage, the absence of restricted access notices, and the responsibility that falls on the organization for the data breach, not him. The officer agrees the site needs work and promises to escalate it. But the auditor makes one thing crystal clear. If that window is open again after this conversation, it becomes willful negligence.
And they've just reopened it because they think I've gone,
but I will
and
say-
that's not the point of what I'm
It's
trying to
about
raise.
unauthorised people on the site. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
They are trying to get gates and all of that, but it's planning permission and all of that. So, unfortunately, we have to work with what we have.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just hope people, members of the public, would be, understanding of that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's just pictures of your police cars and that. It's a local force just trying to come and have a look around, really, and see where the local money's going.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely not, yeah, mate.
definitely not here, apparently. Well, thank you you've been very lovely and professional. I appreciate that. So you've told me you're recording. You've told me you're recording. Have you been recording?
I am recording it.
You are recording. So again, same issue that I raised with him. Is there a reason you haven't notified me of that? Is there?
It's not necessary. They're all three of
No.
recording.
No. You told me that you're recording. You didn't say we're all recording you. You told me that you're recording. That's your responsibility. It's his responsibility to let me know that he's recording me.
It's not necessary.
It is necessary. Would you like to refer to the College of Policing guidance? Because
No, we're fine. Thank you.
no, you're fine, exactly.
I'm
Because
absolutely
you're
fine.
not interested in you're not interested in actually learning what your policies are and adhering to them, are you?
No,
You're just one of those
I'm
tyrants that just wants to go around and do what you want to do, ignore your policies.
Not a problem. I've just
No, that's
told
fine.
you that
That's
we're
fine. I'm
recording.
not interested in talking to you.
Colleagues,
I'd rather
we're
talk to your
recording.
colleagues. You're
Okay,
just
that's
a bit of a
absolutely fine.
tyrant, and I have no interest in talking to you. Yep. If you're not, if you're
quite polite to you and try to have a conversation with you, if you disagree, that's absolutely fine.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not going to follow your policies on your guidance and you have no interest in learning them, because I can refer you to the guidance in which it tells you about your body-worn cameras, in which it tells you about identifying yourself. But again, you have no interest in it. So what's the point in talking to you any further? But yeah, again, thank you. You've been very professional. Straight away identified yourself, told me that you're recording a little bit later than I would have liked, but
Sorry, yeah, I was my colleague spoke to me.
yeah,
on that, so I'd say
exactly.
he was
Yeah,
telling me
you
about
weren't the
ring
one
down,
directly
so-
engaging with me. I was talking to him, so I.
Now the second officer gets exposed. He had been recording the entire time without ever notifying the auditor, the exact same violation raised earlier. The auditor calls it out instantly, and the officer tries to brush it off. The auditor labels him a tyrant, contrasts him directly with the professional officer standing right next to him, and refuses to engage further. Cold, calculated, and completely justified.
Understand
Yeah.
that, but he had every opportunity.
That's fine. Like I said,
you know.
I'm going to go back and speak to my inspector about
Yeah.
authorised personnel signs.
Yeah.
Even if we can do that.
Yeah.
Like I
Again,
said,
not everybody's going to
never-
respect those
no.
signs, but at least then you've got the footing of you've been notified
I mean,
of trespassing before you've entered into
We
the
are a
site.
police
You
station.
know.
We want the public to be able to come and ask us for help. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
want to help them
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
public in their times of stress and
Yeah, yeah.
everything like that. We don't want to be unwelcoming.
No, of course. Like I said to
We
your
don't
colleagues
feel-
when they first came out, the
Yeah.
non-uniform, you've got a sign on that door which is clearly for public information that says, you know,
Don't-
if the
yeah.
office is closed, call 101. That's obviously for public information.
Yeah.
And if you put that there, it's almost an expectation that the public are expected to be there.
Well, because it's not closed, you know. It's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We
So
don't have a closed phone so
No.
So you can't come in. Obviously, we have to try and protect ourselves because you get members of the public that try to do harm to the police.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't like the police.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But-
Anti-police. They try. We've had screws put by the tyres.
okay.
And things like that.
Yeah.
So that's why they were just checking
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make sure.
But then
you
obviously,
weren't
I'm
doing
sure
any
you've got
harm.
CCTV around a sign saying you
Yeah,
have,
we
and
do.
that.
Yeah,
and obviously, I'm walking around, my face is uncovered. I'm not making any efforts to hide myself. I'm not trying to be covert.
No.
You know, otherwise I wouldn't have made myself apparent to the person in the window. You know, I would have.
Yeah.
You know, if I had nefarious intent with that information, I would have stood there and filmed it for as long as I could before I got noticed and not said anything. That would have been, you know, if I had nefarious intent with it.
Yeah, I can see
you
that.
know.
I think it's just, you know, you pointed out a thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to go speak to my inspector now.
Yeah, I
I'm
appreciate that.
I'm hoping that you're not going to like have any nefarious things about putting spikes or
Okay,
anything
like,
like that.
if I was, I'm on your body cameras. My face is quite clear. Like, I don't think it would be difficult.
But
for,
I'm just saying, you know what I
for you
mean?
to figure it out,
We're going
yeah.
to go back. We're going to leave you to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I fully appreciate it. Like, again, I'm not the anti-police. I'm anti-police like that who don't want to follow policies and think they're above doing what they're supposed to do.
The professional officer stays behind, and the conversation gets real. The auditor explains why signage matters, why public presence near the station is reasonable given the public-facing notices on the door, and why the station needs proper access control. She listens, agrees, and commits to taking it upstairs. This is exactly what accountability is supposed to look like, and it is rare to see it done right.
You've been fantastic, and
it's people's
you know.
experiences, isn't it?
Yeah,
Some people
but
have very
as
bad
constables, you
experiences.
should approach every situation independently, shouldn't you? Really.
It is hard. We're human beings at the end
I
of the
know,
day.
I get that, but you're held to
You
a
know what I
much
mean?
higher standard because of the job role that you take
It
on.
is,
You know, you
it
take an
is.
oath to the crown of this country, and we expect you
100%,
to live
but you know what I mean? It can
your
be
life
hard
to
when
that.
you've got members of the public
Yeah,
who want
yeah.
us, harm us, punch us every day.
Yeah,
you know.
sure, but you know,
You know.
but then we say as members of the public, we have police officers that want to do that to us, and it does happen. You can't deny that it does.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah,
we
so we
generalise,
have the
we
same thing.
We generalise.
Yeah.
It's
Again,
our
but I will give
subconscious-
everybody their fair dues. Like I've given you, I've had a polite conversation with you, and
Yeah.
I've told you thank you for doing your job as you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
following your policies. And I'll give everybody their fair dues, and that's
Yeah.
all we expect from the police as well. You know, we expect that two-way street. At the end of the day,
We do try and work a two-way street.
the
I've given
confidence
you
in
my
policing in this
details. I
country is
would have liked
plummeting,
your
and we're trying to
details,
build. You know,
but-
we like to try and build the bridges rather
Yeah.
than tear them down. But we don't want people that You know, if he's not willing to follow simple policies, how can we expect him to follow the ones that actually are way more serious? You know, it starts with the basic level, and that's what it's like. Yeah, school uniform. If you can't be bothered to do your school uniform, how can you be or wear your uniform at work? They don't expect that. It's an indicator of you're not going to be bothered to do your job properly or learn properly, and that's what it's about. If you can't follow your basic policies, how on earth can we have the confidence in you to do your job when it really matters? And that's the kind of people that we don't want in our police forces, is people that, if they can't follow the simple stuff, how can we trust them to do anything more serious when they've got powers that can demolish people's lives, you know?
And support people.
Yeah.
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 No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, your powers can do great
Okay,
things, but they can
okay,
also do very dangerous things, you know, and if we can't trust you to use them properly, that's scary.
Okay, dokie. Well, we're gonna. Like I said, I would have loved to have your first name.
Yeah, I know you
There's a
would.
B after your pink shirt or something.
Probably.
Like that.
Or my cologne, maybe. But yeah, no.
This is the closing statement, and it hits hard. The auditor breaks down exactly why small policy failures matter. If an officer cannot follow basic guidelines, how can the public trust them when the stakes are life-changing? He wraps it up with a powerful message about the collapsing confidence in British policing and why it starts at the ground level with the simple stuff. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next one.